now. It feels like holding an Oscar. But
I was gonna say it looks like you're like holding an Oscar and doing the speech.
thank you. Cannot tell you how much this means.
You're holding
to
a
me.
Shizor.
I'm holding a
won
Shizor.
The
The
Shizors.
2022 Shizor for
There
best
he is.
mustached podcaster.
Incoming transmission from an unknown source. It seems to be urgent. Patching them through. They're calling themselves the HoloNet Marauders.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the HoloNet Marauders podcast. I'm AJ, joined here once again by my Bombad Jedi pals.
I like the thumbs up. That was good.
That's my new signature.
That's the new signature.
All right.
Marauder Matt, he changed his name back from Bombad Bozo.
Bombad Bozo.
But don't be fooled, he's still a Bombad
That's still
Bozo.
a Bombad Bozo. Don't worry about it.
And Jam the Jedi, Jamie, welcome back. We
Hello.
missed you last week while we talked
Yeah.
about trailers.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that you guys did an episode without me. Because it kind of just came and
was
went.
weird, yeah.
I can't believe it's already been 2 weeks since Star Wars Celebration.
Wow. It feels
can and can't
simultaneously,
believe it, yeah.
I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's only been 2 weeks, but at the same time, it feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Weird.
that's life,
Stupid
I
time.
guess. But we probably have some new listeners. I know we have some new listeners, new subs, and new Patreon people. I've noticed subscribe to that. So thank you to those
Really?
people first and foremost.
Thank you.
And for
Thank
those
you.
of you who don't know, we do have a Patreon. So if you'd like to go on there and check that out, we have that. We promise we do have bonus content coming soon. I've got merch to make and send out to you guys. And for those of you who didn't go to Celebration, we have some leftover postcards. I almost dropped it. That I'll send to you guys as a gift, and some buttons from our meetup.
That looked
yeah,
really smooth. You shouldn't have said anything.
it was smooth, but
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like,
good.
it was
You were
slippery.
just like,
But yeah, this episode we are talking about Star Wars Celebration, our adventures, the tales of Star Wars Celebration
that's a good. Okay, good.
2022. Obviously, this was a trip we looked forward to for a very long time, since the end of 2019. No, middle of 2019.
Since it
Well, yeah,
was
since
announced.
it was announced-
Mid-2019.
In
Right
April
after-
of 2019.
Celebration 2019, when they were like, we're going to Anaheim in 2020, and we were like, wow, they're having one next year. Wow, that's gonna be great. I can't wait.
And
Little
then
did we know.
2022.
And now it's 2022, and we finally did it.
We talked about it for so long. I feel like we had more than one podcast episode previewing it.
Oh, for sure.
But we did it. It's over with. We did it. It was a blast.
Mhm.
And we're gonna recap it here for you today. So, we got out to LA, Anaheim, LA. We landed in LA a few days
it was
early.
warmer in Boston than it was
Yeah.
in Anaheim, or in LA when we got
Yeah, the-
there,
the
which
day we left,
was
it was like
absolutely
90
mind-boggling.
It was like
It was-
cloudy and like 60. It was like, what the hell is going on?
I loved it. I thought it was
It was
great.
great. It was
I
wonderful.
still overheated on that Friday, but we'll get to that.
Yep.
And it wasn't
We'll
even
get
that
there.
hot.
We'll get there.
But yeah, our hotel was fun. I think we all enjoyed that. Piling in there. That's where the trip started.
Yeah, yeah.
The trip started when we got to the hotel, and they said we were too early to check in. So
But
they
we
were
had
like,
Sheila.
all right.
Downtown Disney.
Our Dodge Caravan.
Our
believe
Dodge
that's
yes, the
Caravan
named
minivan.
Sheila. That
Yeah,
thing was a beauty.
halfway through the week, the guys start calling it Sheila. I don't know.
There was a
There
lot of
was. I don't
think
Australian references during the week.
We
And for
met
some
a lot
reason,
of
we just-
Australians.
We met
We
two.
did.
That's more than I've ever
and
met in my entire
two and a
life.
half. The pilot on the way home was Australian.
true.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, right.
And we met him.
Was he the one with the mustache?
I think so.
No. Yes, maybe. I don't know.
I'll pretend
We were
he
waiting in the
was.
airport, and we'd see a pilot walk by, and Matt just goes, "I trust that guy in my life," and we're like,
Yeah.
all right,
He
that's
looked
nice.
very trustworthy.
And it was
all
a very
right."
turbulent
And that's the
flight.
entire show. We talked about the beginning.
That's
We talked about the flight home. See ya.
There it is. See you
All right.
guys. But yeah, so our first stop was downtown Disney with the minivan, and I had always wanted to go to this stupid place, the Star Wars trading outpost.
Yep, the outpost.
It's all Resistance themed. It has Rey Speeder out front. Pardon me, and it lived up to the hype. I would say they had so
I
much
would
cool
say
merch
so.
there. We went there at least 3 times during the trip. I think there was
Yeah.
new merch every day, every time it seems. But yeah, we got some.
I got my Mandalorian droids, which I already have on display, and I should have brought them over here, and I didn't. But the little gondola droid and the
Notre Dame.
Oh,
R1
yeah.
droid,
Hell
for
of a
the
set.
Resistance.
And
Hell of a
the
set
most
is right.
important droid, almost
Cobb
Vance
droid.
Yeah.
which we didn't
Yeah,
even
he's
know
a
about.
little astromech. We
White
got this little
background.
Watto when we were there at the trading post.
Yep, we had to add Watto to the collection.
I had Watto. Hey.
There
Which
he
you can
is.
also get in the park, and that was the first time I saw one of these guys in person. The porg with the flappy wings
And the teeth porgs.
and the teeth.
But I'm glad
But I
we
didn't
got
get it
him.
there.
Yeah, I'm glad we got him at the creature stall later. That's
Yeah,
the
that's
true place to get
later.
him.
We're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
talk
for
about
sure.
that.
For sure.
Yeah, but the trading
then-
post was funny because so this is probably old news for a lot of people, but since AJ and I had never been with all of this new stuff, new content, Matt, had you ever been to the trading post before?
No.
Okay.
I think
Like,
the
they're not
trading
even
post
to-
is
It's only out there.
Out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had all never been, and it was funny seeing Ray's speeder because it's oh yeah, that's really cool. It's what it looks like in real life, but I've the local costume clubs in my area, someone made one up here, and so I've seen it before. I've stood next to it, and I've sat on it before, and so I was looking at this one, and I'm yeah, this is really cool. But I was also just nice, just
No, this one was
nice.
the
This
real
one was
deal.
really cool
For
though,
all we
because it
know,
was
it
oh,
was-
is it the
I'm
real
gonna
one?
pretend it was the one from the movie,
Maybe
Totally.
it was.
but I don't think it was. So.
I don't think it was.
You never know. You never know. It was very cool to see, though.
was.
It was really cool.
And then we checked into the hotel, and that was it. And
That was
Yeah.
that. We went to Target. We bought some
Oh,
provisions.
Tortilla Joe's.
we learned
And we
very
went to
quickly
Tortilla
that the
Joe's.
Target closest to Anaheim, to closest to Disneyland, is awful.
Oh,
FYI,
yeah.
everyone, when you go, don't go to the closest Target. It is,
You ever play
it is
Fallout
horrendous.
3 and go to the Super Duper Mart next to Megaton?
There you
That
go.
was this Target.
There you go. That's a good way of putting it, for sure. And no
Yeah.
water. Baffled.
But the trip really kicked into high gear the following day.
Oh, yeah.
Our very first day there, we went to Disneyland, which was amazing. I thought, coincidentally, it started with Matt and Zach went to California Adventure first.
Yeah.
Jamie and I went to Disneyland first.
We struggled getting reservations, but we finally did, right before the trip, get into California Adventure. So we had to go there first, which was good because they'd never been. Me and Zach had been. Our friend
Right.
Zach, by the way, who came with us on the trip, if anybody doesn't know, he's been on this show once. He did a live.
Once?
That was
for
fun.
5 minutes.
Yep.
Does Zach listen to the show?
Probably. Hi, Zach. If you're
Hi,
listening.
Zach.
Zach was a great addition to the crew.
Oh, for sure.
And,
No,
and
he
also
was-
Shelby was there, our friend
Yes.
Shelby, who
And of
producer
course Shelby
Shelby
was
does
there,
a bunch of stuff, and Shelby was there. Shelby didn't go with
Hey,
us
Shelby.
to Disneyland the first day
No,
because
that
of
was
the
a mess.
reservation system, and that was
The
a mess.
stupid
But
reservation system.
got to go
Don't get me
later in the
started,
week,
or I'm going to
so-
do an entire hour-long podcast.
That's a story that
Oh,
the Jedi wouldn't want to tell you that story.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you
but
that
yes,
story.
hi
The
Shelby,
tragedy.
hi Zach. So
But-
hey guys.
Yes, they'd never been to Galaxy's Edge, so they wanted to do it on their own. So
We
Yeah.
beelined
and I
it
went
there.
off.
So AJ and I
Um,
did as what all people do. We beelined it straight to Galaxy's Edge, which is not the brightest thing to do because there's a line through the entire land just to go onto Rise. So AJ and I've never been to Disneyland. Also, I've been to Disney World a good handful of times, but I've never been to Disneyland. We're walking up Main Street, USA, and I'm like, "This is great. This is Walt's place." And then I'm looking at the castle, and I'm like, I'm a little underwhelmed.
It's the size of a donut.
But
They-
yeah, it's so small. But
Size of a
we
donut.
studied we studied the map and we made a beeline to Galaxy's Edge and we went into the side we thought would have made sense, the side closer to Rise of the Resistance. Bad idea. Bad idea. Because we get there and the line is going in the other direction for the ride, and
We were
it's
going
just
against the
through
grain.
the entire
Yeesh.
land. So AJ and I walk into Galaxy's Edge and we're like, oh gosh, because it's through the Resistance encampment side, and we're absorbing all of it, but we're also speed walking through it past this line. We get to the other end, and then we're like,
My-
whoo! We're pretty much out of the land and getting into the end of the line, and then the guy's holding the sign that says this is the end of the line. And we're like, all right, cool, this is
and
it.
we made it.
And then we made it. And then it was cool. And then there's a picture of me next to a trash can, freaking out because we're in Galaxy's Edge. And I'm like, this is it. This is the moment.
Pardon me, that was a
Um,
gonk droid.
There was a gong droid, but there's also
just
one of me
joking.
next to a trash can.
Trash can gonk droid.
The number one
Oh.
thing I noticed about Galaxy's Edge, and it was every time we walked into it, which was, a lot during that trip, was obvious. I knew about it, but once you experience it, it's something else. The sound just the ambiance once you walk in, it's like holy shit! Like
It's,
it goes
it's
from
they
like
built
it
it in a
goes from
bubble.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
It
weirdest
feels like
thing.
it feels like going through the little bubble shield on Autoganga. Like
Yeah.
you're in there.
You just did.
They have done, I mean, people obviously know, but like for people who have gone for the first time, they did such a good job of actually making you feel like you went somewhere totally different. Like you are
Yeah.
fully just pushed into this different world. And it's really, really cool. Really incredible to see like firsthand finally. I think one of the biggest
Imagineers,
things.
is that what they're called?
Yes, the Imagineers.
Imagineers. 3 years later, good job.
Good
You
job.
got my seal of approval.
Good job, guys. But yeah, so AJ and I waited in line for Rise, which was like a 2-hour wait because we think that it may have almost broken down at one point in the middle of
yeah.
it. But we were like
At
stuck
least
in like
once.
the room with like the pilot outfits, which I loved because I was looking at all this stuff. But we were also just like, because
I
it was
loved
an
for the first
interior part.
5 minutes, and then we were there for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
in the
God.
but
room.
then we made it in there, and we won't spoil the ride because people still haven't gone on it, and like you can look up like walkthroughs if you really want to like see the full ride, but like there are parts that like I hadn't been fully spoiled for, but like seeing it in person was like
It was amazing.
next level
It just goes by
experience.
so quick.
I just gotta
You
say,
wait for 2 hours and it ends in 10 minutes.
my favorite part is seeing the walkers, like the
Yeah.
life-size walkers, like
Oh, yeah.
that.
See, that's something you
That
don't see.
melts
you
in
see
my
Ray
brain.
Speeder, but you don't see that.
Like
every day.
like that's like using the promotional material that you see the walkers, and so I don't feel bad like saying, hey, there's walkers on the Rise of the Resistance, but like no, they are
You don't know-
life size.
Yeah.
And
You don't
oh my
know
God.
the scale of them until you're next to them and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, these
it
are one to
melts
one.
in my brain.
Yeah.
Like there's like the one like outside of Star Tours in Florida, but like it's different.
is. It
Seeing
is
it this
much
way
different.
was so cool. So yeah, Rise was really good, and there was a really strong start. And then AJ and I were like, all right, let's go see the Falcon, and we go, and we're like, all right.
There it is.
I don't know.
There
It's
it
because
is.
we just did Rise of Resistance,
We did
and then we
Rise.
did the Falcon, so it was like
My
they're both
genuine
breathtaking, but like
my genuine reaction coming off of Rise was I had to find a wall and lean against it doing the SpongeBob, whoo, because it was so much like, oh my God.
and then
Incredible.
Jamie's favorite part of the day, eating lunch at Docking Bay
Yes,
9.
Docking Bay 7.
Docking, okay, I was
7.
close.
Docking Bay
Yes.
9.
Docking Bay 9. That's next door. Hold
So
on.
everyone has their like qualms with like the mobile ordering and whatnot in the app, and but it does work at the end of the day like
Thought it
really
was
well,
fine.
and like everything that we did like worked out like fine. And I really wanted to get this like cold brew that had like Cocoa Puffs in it, and like a cold foam.
brew Cocoa Puffs.
Overrated. It wasn't.
It was
wasn't that
I've never
special.
even heard of that.
it was some crazy. It was just called like something calf. I
Batu
don't
calf,
know.
I don't know.
Let me look at this is the Star Wars night menu.
Oh, there it is.
Is it in here? It might be. No, because it's not special.
But the
anyway.
the best beverage of the and maybe food is it
not
still
at
food?
Docking Bay 7. But yeah, we're still
Of the
talking
whole
about that.
trip that I still miss is the blue milk.
The milk was
And green milk.
fantastic.
I don't
Yeah.
know what they put in it. I need to find a recipe. If anyone knows a recipe for the blue milk slushies from the blue milk stand in the first order section, whatever it's called, let me know. I need
Yeah.
to know. It's
We
so
are
good. I'm
obsessed with
addicted to
that.
it. I hope
Yeah.
it doesn't have a lot of sugar in it because I had like 5 of them, but or 4 or
Definitely
5.
has a lot of sugar in it.
It's okay.
You tasted
might.
them.
Yeah,
We were just there the couple times, so it's fine. It's fine. It's great.
like
Once every
Chicago.
couple of years should be fine.
Chicago, the food I missed the most was the deep dish pizza. Like I wish I'm sure I could find it somewhere here, but it wouldn't be the same. Like that
No.
was so good. This trip, it's the blue milk
It's
blue
the blue milk at Batu.
and the churros.
Yeah.
But I can find churros
Yeah.
elsewhere.
But yeah,
Ah,
that's
man.
and then eventually later in the day we regrouped with Matt and Zach. We did other rides in the park. We
Yeah.
went on a Smuggler's Run and all that.
we
Smuggler's
finally did
Run.
Smuggler's
It's a lot
Run.
of fun.
Smuggler's Run with Matt. That
Oh,
first
man.
run we did.
was
First of all, you
magical.
said Matt, you said it was one of the best. Is the best score you ever got?
Yeah, without a doubt.
70% maybe 67%.
We
It was
earned
No,
the
it
close.
was,
title-
it was 70% at least.
We did
We earned
very
the title
well.
of Marauder. Don't forget, we earned the title of
Yeah.
Marauder on Smuggler's Run.
that's
So
right, we did.
So I did left to right pilot. Matt did up and down, and like that was
we
I
crushed
fired
it.
the harpoon.
being the pilot and being good at piloting. I hate flying, but in video games and stuff, I'm good at flying.
Flying's
so
for droids.
It's a curse.
Yeah.
But I thought that was so fun.
It was a blast.
Doing it as the other jobs isn't as fun. I know Jamie didn't enjoy piloting when she did it
I didn't.
later.
Yeah, we
but-
went back again on Star Wars night, and we flew AJ and I flew with Ryan and Becca and I flew, and good lord, we were awful. It was
I
not
wish I was
fun.
there to see that, honestly.
Guys, it was
It was,
not.
I was
didn't-
the engineer, so it was a lot
Everyone
of
was
work.
like, you have to pilot it at least once, and so I'm like, all right, I will. And so like Becca and I did it, and we just did terribly.
How
But
many
it was
times
worth
did you
it.
scream?
But we did it.
I don't
It
know.
worked.
It was the first run with Matt was the best one because that was my first time ever doing the ride. Because once you do it, it's the same thing every time.
Yeah.
It does get old. You know, everything gets old after a while. We did it 3 or 4 times on the trip. I forget.
Not if you do Chewy mode, which we didn't get to do.
I'd love to do Chewy mode. I've heard about it. But that first run was great because it was all of us in there. No strangers with us.
Nope.
And that was, it was a good environment. And we did
I
well.
agree.
Which
And we
makes it
did well,
fun.
and we
Hondo
just had
still
fun,
yelled at
like,
us,
you know.
but
He
we
yells
got
at everybody.
We got a
He
C
does, yeah.
average, I think.
Yeah,
We
it was
got a
so.
B,
passing.
dude. Stop underselling us. I
A
think we
70
got
is
like,
not a B.
I think we got an 80.
No way.
remember.
I thought it was
I've gotten
70.
70 before.
We'll round up to it was 80. We got
It
80.
was
Alright.
80.
guys.
Yeah, it was 80.
100%.
100%. 110.
So
Give
Disneyland
me the
was
whole
incredible. AJ and I ran over to California Adventure just to check it out, and I absolutely adored Cars Land. Like that was like
Cars Land was great.
that
You
was
showed up,
almost like
you
up
said-
there with
Internet
like
flows.
Batu.
There it is,
like,
and then you
I-
left.
Well,
No.
we had to rush back to Disneyland to
Because
do
we had
all the
to,
other stuff.
yeah. Like we literally ran into Cars Land. We're like, oh, this is great. We sprinted through Avengers Campus, and no characters were out. And I was just like, well, all right, whatever. And then on the way back through, AJ got
We saw
snubbed by
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. He
Yeah.
got snubbed by Spider-Man,
Sad.
but it was okay.
It's tragic.
It was good. It was a lot of fun. I'd like to go back one day just to like fully take it in. But like, I loved Cars Land because like Cars is like an underrated like Pixar movie in my humble opinion.
It
and like
is.
I loved like
Cars
seeing,
is very
like,
good.
This is one of the things like you go to the Disney parks for the whole ambiance and the overall like package of it kind of thing, and Cars Land completely embodies that. So like you are like in Radiator Springs, and it's very very cool. We didn't really go on any rides in California Adventure. We literally went
didn't have
over, had
time.
dinner, and left.
We didn't have time yet because you have to wait an hour
Yeah.
for any ride, basically. Like 30 to
And you
30
guys-
minutes to an hour. And
Yeah, and the
we wanted to
problem
have
was the park
dinner. We wanted to
closes
get back
earlier.
with Matt and
It
Zach.
does,
so.
yeah. Yeah, back to Disneyland, back to Galaxy's Edge. We rode
Yeah.
Star Tours way too many times. Matt goes
Yes,
breakneck
not-
speed around the
Not
park.
way too many times. Not
FYI.
enough times. Not enough.
Matt,
FYI, if anyone goes to Disneyland or any
You're gonna have a
park
good time.
with Matt,
You're gonna do
you have
everything
permission
you
to
wanna
punch
do.
him.
you have permission to punch him.
You're gonna do
because-
everything you want to do in a timely manner. I'm gonna
But
get
what if you
where
enjoy the
need to go.
ambiance?
What if you want to take
I'll
a
enjoy
break?
the ambiance with you. You can.
No, but
you
you'll be
can take a
sitting there
break.
like.
But we have
so
to
what?
schedule them.
We
have to
literally
schedule them.
jump in the lines, and Matt's like, "Oh, after this, what do you want to do? What are the times for this?" And it's like, "Would you settle down? We just
Nope.
got here." We're
Matt's
like literally
parents,
pulling
if
into
you're
the
listening,
station at like some other like
you guys raised
ride.
a monster.
I
Ooh,
have
it's
been doing that
like-
since I was a little kid. I've
Yeah, he has
been
it
going to
ingrained
Disney
in
World
him.
all the
Just
time.
relax.
It's ingrained in me. I can't help it. It's
Well,
just
Matt,
something I
the
do.
good thing with Matt is he can relax. Like, we can tell him to shut up or yell at him or fake yell at him, and he'll be like, okay, you're right.
No,
He's along for the
understand.
ride, but he's
It's-
also the structure.
It's intense, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's my focus, and I'm programmed and wired to do it. I can't stop.
It went well, though.
You should.
We
Yeah,
forgot
it
about the
was a
most
lot of fun.
important ride, the Indiana Jones ride.
I was getting there. I was ending that. So
Hello,
the
my
wait time for
friends.
Indy is relatively short, so we decided to go to Indy, and we all
Finally, 'cause it
fans
was-
of the
it
show
was
know
long
we all
all
live
day.
Indiana Jones, and wow, that was a lot of fun. Just running through the queue, and then suddenly you're in the room, and Sala just greets you.
And
Like,
suddenly, you're in
He
the
greets you 100 times while you're
I
in
Oh
love
my
how the
God,
video-
it was on repeat. It was on just a loop.
30 seconds of him just giving like a preview about the ride, and it just repeats immediately. It's not like any sort of downtime.
No.
It's 30 seconds. It's 30 seconds.
It's literally like,
It's this clip
beware
on
of the
repeat.
eyes of Mar. Welcome, my
It's-
friends. It's like, oh my God.
How does he do
It's so good.
Yeah, how
The
does he?
three.
it? Like this. Anywho, Zach
Anyway.
drove, technically. He was
Zach
behind the
drove.
wheel.
Zach was in
of
the
Yeah.
driver's seat of the Jeep. He did
Best
an
driver.
awful job as always.
That was fantastic. The cast members like asked him. They were like, "Oh, have you had any drinks tonight?" And he's just like, "Maybe." And he's like, "All right, you be careful then, sir." It was great. It was a really
Yeah, it
good
was fun.
experience.
And then, of course, on our way out, No, that wasn't on our way out.
Nope, that's Star Wars Night. We're gonna
That's
get
Star
there
Wars
later.
Night. We'll get that
We'll
later.
get there.
We'll get there later.
We'll get there.
Oh,
One
yeah,
of
we'll
many
get
interactions.
We'll get there. All right, let's
or
fast forward a bit.
non-interactions.
Let's
Let's
fast forward.
fast
Tuesday
forward
was
to-
nothing.
Tuesday, Wednesday, we just kind of like hung around.
There's one
I went to
important
Scum
story.
and Villainy, but that's about it.
There's one important story. Matt went to Scum and Villainy, but the important story is when he got back. Matt, if you want to tell
That was the
this
stupidest
highlight of the
friggin' thing in
trip.
the world.
So for
This-
context in general, on that day, AJ and I hung around. We like found other friends that liked that
Corey and Aubrey.
Yeah, we met Corey and Aubrey in person finally. So we hung out with friends, and Shelby met. And did Zach go with you guys? No,
No.
Zach hung out with
Zach
us.
was with
Zach
us.
hung out with
You
us.
guys. What are you? What are
He
you
had the best
talking about?
cheeseburger of his life.
He did, right? He had the Wagyu burger. Anyway,
So I
AJ,
took
Zach,
the
and
van.
I hung out,
They hung
and the two
around.
of them went and hung out with
We
other
went
friends.
to North Hollywood to meet one of my friends that I had met when I lived out in California in 2017. George, if you're listening, you said you would.
Really?
How's it going?
Okay.
He did. He
How's
George,
actually,
it
please
going?
subscribe.
when we told him we had a podcast, he was like, "Oh, I'll find you guys," and then he like put episodes on to make us uncomfortable. That was very
Ooh.
uncomfortable. But anyway, long story short, I drove up to meet them. You know, we hung around, caught up, went to Scum and Villainy, drove back down, and on the way back, I had to take my ID out to get into Scum and Villainy, and to order a drink. So I had my ID out, and I didn't put it in my wallet. I didn't put it back in my wallet. So when I put this, I don't even know where to start. I put my wallet on the
In the van.
in the
the
van,
van.
between the driver's seat and the
There's a little, like,
passenger seat where like the cup holders and everything
Cigarette
are.
lighter thing is, yeah.
Yeah, and
But
there's like
no,
a
it's actual
compartment.
cigarette lighter.
Yeah, there's a little compartment there, and I take my room
And it opens
pass
and
out
closes.
to open the parking garage. Yeah, it has a little compartment that opens and closes. I put everything down on the section. We park the car, and I realize I can't find my ID. No, I realize that when I get back up to the room. And I'm like, where the hell's my ID? So I'm running back and forth. I'm going upstairs. I'm going downstairs. I remember having it in my pocket, specifically when I checked in to the hotel's parking lot. So I knew that was all set. It had to be around here somewhere. And finally, it dawned on me, holy crap, my ID must have slipped between a tiny little crack in the door to the opening to the compartment and slipped into the actual dash console area.
Meanwhile, Shelby and I have already fallen asleep, so this is only AJ and Matt and Zach
Yeah, so
knew about
No,
it.
Zach
but
was just
Zach's
laid out on the couch.
fading in and
Yeah.
out. Because it's past 10 o'clock and he's
he
tired.
barely knew what was going on. So
It was late
AJ
at
and
night.
Matt, go investigate the situation here.
So we're running up and down the stairs. Finally, I'm like, holy crap, we're gonna have to take this back to the rental place, and we're gonna have to have them tear the car apart. And AJ's like, nope.
Not on my watch.
He pulls up his phone. He's got a video, and the guy's like, apparently this happens a lot. This is a common problem with this. This is a common
this
quirk
model.
with this model car. A lot of people complain about, and somebody made a video on how to just tear apart the console on your own. So we walk downstairs. AJ's like, all right, so you just slide this drawer out and you push this to the side, and then you just and he just rips it open.
The whole thing came open.
The whole thing just unhinges and of course we're digging in, and sure enough, there's my friggin' ID and what was it? It was
There's room keys to
hotel
Vegas.
for a Las Vegas hotel that we found in there. There was another
Some other place.
some other place in Anaheim, a hotel card from a place in Anaheim, and 75 cents.
Yeah,
That went
which
to
we
our
use for laundry later.
later on.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. But that was an experience and a half.
And then they
because
put it all back together.
we
and
put it all
so
back together. We didn't break anything.
It's
We didn't
fine.
void the contract or anything like that, because everything snapped right back into place. And I got my ID back. Thank God.
Which you would need later in the week. I forget
I-
for the vaccine thing or something, or you
No,
needed
what
it
did
for
I need
something.
it
To
Well, I
check in to
needed
get
it.
your wristband.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Which was the
Um,
next day. I had
Mhm.
to show them my ID, and I was like, "Holy crap! Lucky I had that."
I'm glad we didn't have to go to Enterprise for that, because that would have stunk.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have.
They probably wouldn't even known how to open the thing up. They were like, "Oh, too bad."
They would have probably watched the same YouTube video,
Probably.
Yeah.
That you
They would have done
watched.
the same thing.
without a doubt.
Anyway,
but that
so
is
that was
pretty
Tuesday.
much all of our
Pre-celebration, although
There was one thing. Was it Wednesday night before We
Yep.
went back to downtown Disney at night.
To meet up with everyone.
Saw like
You know,
everyone we know pretty much. Not everyone we know, but we saw all new nerds.
all the nerds, Brent,
Michael and Janae.
Yep. Michael
Rexing
and Janae.
around.
Brent was there. Yep. Which I group him with the all new nerds, obviously. And
They were together the entire
Ryan and Becca
weekend.
were there too.
Yep.
And Ryan and Becca.
I don't think I'm missing anyone.
No, but that was great. That would probably, I mean, we're going to talk about our highlights later from the trip, but that was probably a highlight of the trip.
I remember you saying you were like that day
That
and,
night.
and the next day you were like, this is gonna be the memory of the trip for me. And I'm like,
Nope,
all right, yeah. it
I'm
was good."
serious. That night, as soon as it happened, as soon as it was happening, I turned to AJ and I was like, yeah, this is it.
Well, that's where it all began.
This
That's
is
like
the
where
core memory.
that's where celebration really started for us. That's when we,
Yeah.
because celebration's all about. It's cheesy to say, but it's all about the community and
It
the
is.
people
That's
you
what-
know and seeing
that's what you
seeing
learn.
people you wouldn't normally see.
Like when we went last time, that's something you learn when you get to celebration. You make all these plans, you want to do all these things and have these experiences, and I want to go to the booths, I want to go get into the panels, I want to get this signed, I want to meet this person. But at the end of the day, it's like as soon as you get there, you just meet people, and you
Yeah.
form this community, and then suddenly you're running into them again and you're, getting to know these people better. And it's like, I mean, that's just the most fun. I mean, that's what celebration is all about. That's what these conventions are all about. They're about the fans, and they're about connecting with other
Yeah.
people who are fans. That there's nothing better than that. That's what's fun about celebration.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that brings us to our first day at celebration. What was like? I have some highlights written down here. Number one was there was the big panel that day for the Lucasfilm showcase,
Oh yeah.
and we were like, oh, they'll show it on the big screen at the stage. They did this last time.
We find out very
Nope.
quickly. No, they
That's
are
the
not
only.
doing that.
That's the biggest gripe I had with this celebration, and probably like the only major gripe I had with this celebration was the fact that they didn't stream any of the panels. And even though we managed to get into a fair amount, I mean, obviously we did our last episode all about the panels we got into, but what the hell, guys? Why were you
I
not
know.
streaming
So
the panels?
secret.
That was such a terrible decision. I really, I mean, even if you're not going to show the exclusive content, because when I did the Mando panel in 2019, they showed us exclusive content, and then they just like turned it off. Like for the stream, they said, all right, we're going to show people in the room this stuff, but we're still going to stream the panel itself. We're still going to stream them talking about it. And we're still going to release like a little trailer.
Right. They'll
But-
just black out the secret
Yeah.
parts.
What's
do
funny
that
about
again.
it
I
is
don't get
like
it.
I've like seen like a full like recaps of like the panels. Like people have recorded the full things minus the exclusive parts, and they haven't been taken down yet. So it's not like they're like cracking down on it was exclusive content in the panel, but it wasn't the exclusive content because these people are smart. They're like, oh, I'm not gonna actually show like the trailer and whatnot in there.
Yeah.
Although if you look, you can find it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
you
found
can
a few
find it.
bootlegs.
They're blurry,
'cause I
but
really
you
need
can
to
find
rewatch a few things.
Same.
But like, yeah, it's just
I
so
don't
weird they
get
didn't
it.
stream it.
Such a
don't
cool
get it.
part of Chicago was, we got into some panels there too for the ones we wanted to see, or the overflow at least, so we saw them. But seeing video of like the floor with that little stage area with the screen, like seeing people watch the Rise of Skywalker trailer or the
Yeah.
Fallen Order trailer back in 2019, like, and you just see like arms go up and cheering.
Yeah, I mean,
like
there's
that's
nothing
such a
better
cool
than that.
thing. They
And
didn't
that's
have it though.
something to look forward to if you don't get into the panels. It's the best
Yeah.
consolation prize ever, because then you're like, all right, I'll just watch it on the floor with everybody else, and it's a blast.
Especially
Right.
like they released the Andor trailer like immediately to YouTube.
Yeah.
Like why couldn't they just? We could have watched it at that stage, and that would have been cool. Like
Yeah, it was
Like, I
weird
don't
that
know.
they didn't like. Well, I think that they did like re-show them and whatnot, but the crowds really weren't like by the main stage yet. By like the celebration show, or the Star Wars show live stage. But it was cool the way that they had
they
it
were
set
later
up.
that day.
Yeah. Well, we're getting there. So like the crowds like were around like later, but like the way that it was like set up was they had like the costuming clubs were like right next to like that stage, and
It was very dark.
it was
Yeah.
very, very dark
lights
because
on.
like the
Dark over
stage
there.
was like Navarro like themed, and like it was just very, very dark. We also had
The
like a
stage looked
fog
cool.
machine, which I'm pretty sure set off the fire alarm. But,
Oh, that's
You're
the story
kidding.
of the day for me.
That's
we're
what
getting it.
that's what set
I
off the
think
fire
that's
alarm.
what
That's my
set it
theory.
off. Yeah,
You're
that's
kidding.
the working theory. That's
Well,
our working theory.
It's probably not what happened, but that's my theory. I'm sticking
You
to
heard
it.
it here first,
Someone probably
guys.
pulled it.
But yeah, so we didn't get into that panel. We saw the boys again. We saw all new nerds and Brent.
Yeah,
And
so we're
Levi
just like
was
hanging out. We're hanging out like on the floor, some random
just
location.
like some
It's-
random
it's
corner.
us, all new nerds,
There's
Brent,
this big
and
circle of all
we're
of us just huddled
huddling on our
around.
phones, and everyone's
I'm
like,
on
you get into
r/Star
signal.
Wars
Whoever
League.
can actually like get through is like trying to like find and like watch these things, and
AJ's
Yeah.
refreshing Twitter. I'm on Reddit. We're going
My phone
nuts.
would not work.
yeah,
Um,
it was bad.
And it's literally I'm getting like live updates on the comments like, oh, and now they're doing this, and I'm like, oh, now they're doing this, and oh, now they're doing this, and it's like, I mean, that was
But
fun in and of itself.
It was a good memory and experience from celebration.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we knew the publishing panel was coming up,
Oh boy.
and Levi, we had a bit of a book club reunion with Levi, and we were like, let's go do this. We can't go to the other panel, obviously, so let's go do a panel. Let's go do
Yeah.
something.
Also, just up front, like about like the panels, it was weird how they had like the priority like lottery ones like every morning at the same time, 11 a.m. But then
Yeah.
everything else was just like a crapshoot. You could just wait in line and get in. And they
or
they
if you
didn't
had
like it
light
was.
speed lane,
it was-
or
Light speed
whatever
lane.
it was
Gosh.
called.
Which never
was a
worked for me. Couldn't
disaster.
get it to load.
I couldn't
Every
get it to
morning,
load.
it was like getting like a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance when that first opened. I
Oh
would
my
assume I never had to do
God.
that myself, but like
Yeah,
in the
I
morning,
did,
8 a.m.,
trust me.
8:30, you had to like wait, and then if you're in the convention center, you were screwed because like everything wouldn't load, and so whatever.
Anyway, long story short, we go to the panel. I break off with Levi because he can get one guest in with his light speed lane.
Yeah.
They wait
So
in line.
I was like, you go do it. You go with Levi.
So me and Levi are sitting there. We get right in the front, like in the front area for the panel. We're watching the panel. It's great. You know, they have a bunch of people on stage. Kevin Scott was on stage.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Kevin Scott.
He was never on this show.
Friend of Jamie. Kevin
Who's
Scott.
part
And
of
friend
the
of
show.
us, friend of me, as I'm about to divulge. Anyway, we're watching the panel, and the fire alarm goes off. And everybody is just kind of stunned for a little while. You know, that like kind of like awkward phase where like the alarm's going off and everybody's sitting there like,
Is it real?
Do we have
kinda
to get
thing?
off?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Can we
So
wait it
we-
out?
So everybody starts getting up, filing out. Me and Levi are walking through these back tunnel areas. And of course, we're looking around and wait a minute. Is that Kevin Scott? Oh, E.K. Johnston. Oh, wait a minute. And we're just walking next to all the authors. And we're like in the middle. We're like in the clump, like right there. It was the funniest thing. So I'm texting them. I'm going, guys, I'm evacuating with Kevin Scott because you guys were asking where we were.
Yeah.
And we're just casually like shooting the breeze with these guys, and we're just making jokes. And Levi's trying not to freak out. I'm watching Levi, and I'm sitting there like, this is pretty amusing. We're going down the stairs. Oh, I know what's going on. Levi's making jokes about the High Republic to Kevin Scott. We're having a great time. We're outside. We're hanging out. And of course, we're all filing back in, and we get them to come over, so everybody gets to say hi to old Kevin.
For like a second.
While he was trying to eat.
We're literally like, wait.
Hey, do you remember Jamie?
We finally like link up. Yeah, and like Kevin Scott looks at me. He recognizes that he does, and then he just kind of like nods, and he's like, yeah, and then he just kind of like kept going.
then he's
and
outta
I'm
Finished
like,
eating his Cliff
that was
Bar
it.
or whatever he was eating.
That was it. He was out of there, and I
That's
didn't
not
get
the
to talk to
only-
him again.
That's not the only close encounter with an author that day. Jamie and I were in line for some like smoothie bowl thing. That was pretty
Yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
refreshing. I turn around and we kind of joked for a few days. We were like, "Oh, is that Charles Soule? Is that Charles Soule?"
Dude, it was. Every
like,
time you'd
was.
say, is that Charles Soule?
But
It was
this
always
time-
Charles Soule.
I didn't even say it this time, and I turned around and Jamie was like, "That's Charles Soule." It was
There
like the
he
boy who
is.
cried wolf or something. I'm like, no,
he was just
no
like
way.
looking at like the menu, and then he like walked off to like some other thing. But like,
Yeah.
Every time you'd spot somebody who was like, is that Charles Soule? It was always Charles Soule, and it was always too late to be
You
like,
know how you can
"Hey,
tell if it's Charles
Charles."
Soule from now
the
on?
sweater.
If he has his Indiana Jones satchel with him,
Oh, yeah.
crossbody satchel, yeah,
Yep.
and the sweater.
Or the sweater, there you go.
Yeah.
You know what we forgot
Only
to
writers wear
mention?
that.
On Wednesday, AJ and
Yeah,
I.
you guys. I was going to mention that.
Yeah. On Wednesday, AJ and I were just hanging out in front of the convention center. We were with like Ryan at one point, but then we were by ourselves. We saw Ashley Eckstein walk by. And
yeah.
AJ and I both kind of like clammed up and we're like, oh my gosh, it's Ashley Eckstein. And then whatever. And then later in the day, we were back in like that same area and I saw her walk back and I was like, I'm going to ask her. And I was like, Ashley, can I bother you for a selfie? Do you mind? And she was like, yeah, of course. And she was the sweetest. And I got a picture with her. And then AJ says to like her husband, "No, we're Red Sox fans."
Yeah, because he used to play baseball for the
Yeah.
Angels, and I
It
forget
was
who
great.
else. But
And he's just like, all baseball fans are good fans. And it
no,
was
yeah,
good.
he said he's
It was
like, we
great.
love Red Sox fans. I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
It was great. Yeah.
Um,
And that's that. She was like the only actual like celebrity I met the entire weekend.
free photo op.
Actually,
That's what that
second.
was.
I met two
You
voice
met Kevin
actors.
Scott.
You did meet Kevin
And Kevin
Scott.
Scott.
He's a
And Charles
celebrity.
Soule.
And we met Charles. We did.
He walked by again another day while we were having lunch, but we didn't say anything. Then
You know
either.
what stunk? Getting food at this convention.
Oh my god. Three
No, I think
well,
getting food was okay. We'd get the same food truck like every time almost, or one of
Yeah.
the same.
they had
but
that
getting
area
food-
out front too. That was like Main Street USA, like just crammed to the brim
Yeah, it
with
was.
people.
I wasn't going near that.
We were not going near there.
I got COVID anyways. but
Didn't
not
want to
from
catch
that.
COVID, right?
It wasn't from the
Oops.
convention.
Uh,
So, Matt, you bought a lot of things on this trip. I think you did. Would you say you bought something every day?
Pretty
After
much,
each
yeah.
day here, let's say the best thing you bought that day. And for Thursday, I know what the best thing you bought was. Do you have it near you?
But
The answer is yes. He's
the answer
reaching
is
for
kind
it.
of. He's not sure.
He's reach. I can see his High Republic shirt in the back. Oh. So for people listening, he's wearing his 1999 Phantom Menace Watto shirt or Watto shirt.
Watto shirt, Watto
Watto
mask.
As you can hear, his mic is a little more muffled there.
Oh god.
It's got like real chin hair.
Real. Look at these bristles, man. I could clean my dishes with these.
Yeah, you could.
Oh yeah. Bristles.
Give us a little Watto impersonation.
Ooh. Oh, Annie, little Annie. Oh, the Jedi. What do you know? Ooh.
Oh, perfect. See, you're ready for Halloween now.
Oh yeah. No, I'm all set.
See, I like how you have the Starlight cleanup crew shirt on with that. That can
I'm
be
a
your own.
Toydarian.
That's your own character.
Yeah.
Just throw some wings on and get a broom, and you're good to go.
I'm all set. Yeah.
But that was the best purchase of that day. I
Incredible.
think Matt and I noticed at the same time at one of
Oh,
these
yeah.
booths. I was like, "Look at that!"
And I had to get a mask.
Everyone
because
knows last time he got the Jar Jar mask.
my Jar Jar mask
ordered-
is from Celebration 2019.
Yeah.
Although I didn't
Uh,
buy it there, I bought it on Amazon and got it delivered to the Airbnb. But it's still from
Same thing.
Celebration.
It counts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that Darth Maul's hanging out there for next time maybe.
Yeah,
So
we got to get
we'll
the
see.
Darth Maul mask. Oh my god. The
But
awesome
that
Darth Maul
was-
mask.
Oh, on to the highlights of the day, I would say.
Yep.
Thanks to all new nerds for this one. But we
Yes,
were near the
thank you, All New
stage
Nerds.
at the end of the day. They wave us over, and we're like, "What do they want? What do they want? Like, come over here, come to us. Why would we have to go to you?" So we went over to them, and they were like, the producer said someone big's coming out, like some celebrities, and we're like, "Okay, cool." Like, Kenobi premieres. Kenobi premieres later this day. Maybe it's Ewan and Hayden, and it was. It turned out to be them. And
What a
was.
reveal! What a reveal!
And
see,
it
I
was,
slipped on the paneer there, so the mutter paneer.
It was just great though. It was a very, very cool. We were literally like front row on the side of just
We
like
were.
seeing them walk out.
We
It
s-
was,
we were like
yeah, it was
right
incredible.
there, and I could reach out and touch them if I wanted to. Get my arms
No,
around
there was a lot of security.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was
that
awesome.
was such a cool moment. And like, meanwhile, we're in 20 minutes or 15 minutes our meetup with Rex and
Rex
Ron
and
Michael,
Around.
the Maraudin around
Maraudin'
Riding
around.
around.
meetup.
Yeah,
That was tough to say.
it's tough to promote.
We hauled ass
Still.
over there afterwards.
Still tough to promote. Look at that. Can't even.
There it is.
Hey,
There it is. There's our pin.
Yeah, so we had these awesome
Um,
buttons designed by Savvy, Padawan pins. I
We'll be sending
am in love with
these
them.
to patrons once again.
So
I'll
yeah, our
mention them.
buttons were from Savvy, and our postcards were done by our friend Meg. Meg
Yes.
held illustrations. So we had a few fun art things. The
of
best
the
part
best.
about our buttons were that Matt, AJ, and I are like paler
We're
than snow,
vampire.
and
Oh my
Michael and
God.
Greg are actually have a California tan. I love how this is best illustrated by like my very pale palm as well. in the
Oh yeah, I
background.
know, right?
It's great. It's perfect.
I've been spending a lot
yeah.
of time in the sun recently, but I don't think it's done much.
Not that much. But yeah, it was great. So we book it over to where we're gonna have our meetup. And there's already a lot of people kind of gathered for. We knew it was going to be Michael's show, but like it's still good. We love him. That's why like we had to like meet him like the day before because like we never actually like met in person. And so we're like, Michael, we'd like to like talk to you before like we're having a
For the
meetup with
meetup.
you.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was so much fun to like meet Michael and Greg and like
Oh,
meet
yeah.
their broader community.
For sure.
And it was a lot
Lady
of fun.
Lorians.
Lady
Yes,
Todd,
the Lady
everybody.
Lorians. We
They were
met like all
there?
the
That was
Lady
great.
Lorians. They came
Love
and
the
went,
Lady
but
Lorian.
oh my gosh, love them so
It was
much.
the only day I saw the Lady Lorians too, and I'm sad that I
I
couldn't see
know.
them
yeah,
again. But
they were limited time
okay.
there. I'm glad we saw them though because
Yeah.
I love all of them.
yeah, I mean,
And what else
meetup-
did we get during the meetup?
Charles Soule? No. During the meetup. Oh, the flag.
The
We got the flag. Where
flag.
is the flag?
Oh yeah. I
like a
don't
bag
know.
somewhere?
I think, yeah, it's
I was
somewhere.
gonna
but
hang it behind me,
it's-
but in the future you'll see it right here where
Yep.
this
Worn
beaming
as a
light
cape
is.
the entire weekend,
yes,
almost nonstop.
It's just the
somebody
logo.
had it on them. No matter
not
what,
me.
no
I
matter
was
where
always
we
in a
were.
costume.
It's kind of like Doctor Strange's cape. Like it has a life of its own. It's somewhere just
It
flying
just floats
around.
Yep.
I love that.
But
I
yeah,
love
Thursday
that.
was jam packed, as you can see. You know, we just spent
Yeah.
like 20 minutes talking about
And
it.
then we left, got food, and watched Kenobi.
Yes.
Right. We
yeah.
got IHOP and watched Kenobi with
We
Scott
got
and Kendra.
IHOP
Yep.
and watched Kenobi, and that was great. That was even better because we were like, "Oh my god, we got to stay up till midnight," and then they pushed it up to 9 p.m. Right? It was
Yeah.
9. It was like
So-
perfect timing.
Because they had the premiere, so they like for people who made it to the panel earlier in the day, they were like, "Hey, come back later for the premiere." So people had like wristbands; they can go see that. None of us got into that, but
And
we
they
were
got
just like,
special
you know what?
Pringles
That's
and
okay.
Frosted Flakes.
I don't know. They got snacks and things. But like we're like, yeah, we'll just go back and watch it later. So it's like 8 o'clock or so. We're trying to figure out what we're gonna have to eat, and then all of a sudden, I see that like people who are in the panel start like responding to me like just via like text message and whatnot, and then I see it got pushed up to 9, and I'm like, so guys, I'm like, we gotta hurry up, and then it was like a mad
So we
dash.
rushed
We like
ordered
got
IHOP.
IHOP takeout, and that was almost a disaster.
good.
Scott and Kendra came over, our friends from here, but we're out there for the convention. We were
They
just like,
also had
yeah, this is
IHOP.
great. They also had IHOP like before. It was a hot mess, but it was a lot of fun, and it was really good to like watch it like just like kind of like private as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, it was
'cause
nice
you could
to watch
absorb
it
it
in the room.
better.
What was I gonna say about Kenobi?
And you did
know,
not miss any reactions. The only reaction was literally Flea, and then I was freaking out about the clone.
And then the
trooper.
Grand Inquisitor. Is,
I was about to say you missed
Uh,
the Grand Inquisitor. Wait a minute.
Wait
Yeah.
a minute.
Hold on a
Hold on,
second.
hold the phone.
there.
Hold on.
And then us huddled around the TV looking at all the trailers.
Yeah,
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
break down
Yeah.
scene by
Pictures of that.
scene.
Well, isn't the Grand Inquisitor on Nur? Isn't he on the Nur?
Nope.
Let's look at the trailers. Nope.
Oh, boy,
No.
Anyway,
By
that
the
was
way,
Thursday.
Disney Plus, Lucasfilm. If you're
You're
listening,
listening, and I know you are.
please make all the release times 9 p.m. Pacific and midnight Eastern because why
Please.
not? Please, just
There's
do it.
there's
Please.
no reason not to. No reason.
You
not
did it
to.
once, you can do it again.
Yep.
As Elliot from Jordan's Furniture would say. So,
Sure.
um,
You did say
So
that.
Friday.
on to Friday,
On to
which was
Oh,
what a
I don't
day,
know
huh?
if anyone's keeping track as well. On Thursday, I was my my original character Jedi cosplay wise, but it was a Nomad version, so it was very Kenobi inspired, and no one really got it. But I'm like, all right,
And I was
whatever, it's
Cobb
all
Vanth,
good.
and that
It
was
was
the only
Cobb Vanth.
costume I wore all weekend.
Yep.
And I
pretty
wore my
much.
Yoda shirt.
There you go. So
Iconic.
Friday. What was the panel
Friday.
Friday morning?
It
There wasn't one.
was nothing.
There wasn't one.
There was no
Nice.
panel.
There
on
wasn't a
Friday
big
morning.
one.
No.
That was
panel
why
on Friday.
AJ left early so he could get into the shop instead.
Right. AJ went really early on Friday, and I don't know what happened, but he just didn't feel good. Like
I took one
the
look
entire
into
day.
that basement, and I was like, I'm not waiting in that line. And then Jamie was able to get into the shop. So
So
I was like,
Let
Jamie,
me-
Oh, yeah.
you go get the stuff.
Yeah. Majority of my Friday morning was spent waiting in line to get into the celebration shop, and I did that with the help of a lot of friends. So thank you to everyone who made that happen because I would have been in there probably
Right,
the whole
right.
day if I didn't have help.
let me give you a little bit of a POV from how I experienced Friday morning. I'm lying in my couch bed. I wake up as I always do. AJ always woke me up every morning.
You can't get one step past Matt. And he
You
wakes
can't.
up.
Matt's
I'm a
also like
light
right by the
sleeper.
door, so like
That too. So I look up and I see AJ at the door. He goes, I'm going to leave a little earlier so I can go to the shop. And I'm like, okay, so I guess I'll meet you there. He's like, yeah. Okay, sounds good. And he leaves. I roll over to look at my phone, and I pull up my phone, and it's 7 a.m. And I'm going, 7 a.m.? What the hell is he doing?
We did
7
not
a.m.?
adjust to the time difference
This
well.
stupid thing is starting at 10. So, and I went back to bed. Zach kind of went back to bed. And then later
Right.
on, we arrive at 10. And first of all, I'm getting everything. AJ's sending me pictures up the wazoo. He's taking pictures of all these cosplayers with the cosplayers of them. He's going, wow, look at this, look at this, look at this. And my phone's like lighting up, and I'm texting him going, wow, look at that, look at that. He's going, oh my God. And
Look
of
at
course,
this, look at that.
I forgot to mention, on Thursday, I had started a costume list where I was keeping track of all the costumes I was seeing on the floor. And it is way, way, way longer than I have any capacity to actually sort through. I'm not kidding. Look at this.
I can't see anything.
I can see some,
You can
but
see,
we'll get to
I'm
that later.
trying to,
You can mention the ones that were like the most
That's a lot.
plentiful.
Anyway, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Armor,
armor.
None.
I saw some armors.
not according to that list.
What?
Yeah,
No,
it's an armor dash.
well, the dash means that I tallied it. It's
Oh,
kind of
those
like
are
a
tally
bookmark.
marks?
Yeah, I know. There are tally marks on the. Look, I do my notes one way. Don't judge me. But so of
Alright.
course I'm scrambling to add all these people to my list, and AJ's super enthusiastic. I mean, I could tell you were having a blast. Just from like the way you were texting and what you were doing, and I'm like, okay, great. So we head over
What
there.
he hasn't told you is that I probably didn't have one sip of water that whole time.
AJ was also by himself. I
the
wasn't
most
with him. He
important
was
thing-
by
I had
himself.
a coffee,
He was by
which isn't
himself.
water, by myself. And then Brent showed up, of course. Talked with Brent about Kenobi. There was a girl who was also from Massachusetts, which was cool, like sitting there on the near the fountain watching Kenobi with her earbuds in. She was like, oh, don't spoil it. And we were like, okay, like, sorry. And then she kept like commenting to us as it was going. And then I gave her a postcard when she was done. And I was like, have a good one. And, there's just people like that talking to. I love that's the best part of Celebration. It's the one time I'll just like reach out to anyone and start talking to them. I talked to a Kylo Ren cosplayer. And I was like, oh, where'd you get the boots, Crow Pops? Oh, where'd you get the gloves, Endor Finders? And I was like, hey, I'm Boston Kylo. Nice to meet you. But yeah, no, it was cool to talk about like the same costume that I've collected stuff from. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of that like in person at least, so that was fun. Yeah, I was doing that kind of stuff. Mingling, as the people call it, right?
Yep.
And
They
then
do call it.
after that, it was kind of a blur. I don't know. Jamie got out of the shop.
Got out of the shop, met up with AJ, and he did not look good. And I'm
forget
like,
what-
did
I
you eat
went
anything
back-
today?
I went back to the hotel and changed into Han Solo
Yeah, he left.
That's what it was.
We-
Yeah.
with
we
Jamie.
got there.
Right.
So we like called him up and we're like, all right, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm heading back. So we're like, all right. So we were exploring the floor for a while, trying to find where the Shadows of the Sith,
Right. I missed out on that
Adam
because I didn't.
Christopher
drink
poster
water.
signing was. So we couldn't find the booths to save our lives. So that's what we spent like the entire morning trying to find the stupid booth while we're texting Jamie and AJ trying to coordinate. All right, when are we meeting up? Blah blah blah. They're running back to the hotel. Finally, I text them and AJ just goes, by the fountains. Not feeling too hot. So
No,
said,
I was like, oh, we're in the lobby right now. Oh, wait, now we're going back
Right.
outside. I don't feel great. Oh, now we're over here. I really don't feel good. It just kept getting worse.
Yeah,
and
so
so we kind of followed that like trail to find him, and then
then you
finally I
see-
find him, and he's just like
A bent over Han Solo.
hunched
Yeah,
over,
he's-
just done.
not doing so hot. AJ
Just
literally
out
wore
for
Han
count.
less than like 30 minutes, and he was just like done.
I really
so
don't
we
know
knew
what
later
happened. I guess I just didn't eat or hydrate, and I
I don't
it caught
know.
up to
We
me.
knew later in the night we were gonna go to Star Wars night at Disneyland, so we're like, all right, we have to like make sure everything's all set. So AJ and Matt went back to the room to like recoup. I was like with everyone else, and we're like, let's get something to eat. And then it just straight up like was not going well. Finding things. AJ and Matt are just like chilling, and I'm like, all right, here's something to eat.
Yeah,
and
we ate
then-
dry Cheerios.
Yeah,
and then
it was-
watched
it was
the,
rough.
I got my
Survivor
poster
trailer.
signed before. What's the timeline here?
Oh no, yeah. So you weren't there yet. It was sorry. the details are fuzzy. AJ went back. I met him at the hotel room. Then you came back, and then I left because I went to the Ray photo.
Because you needed to go to the Ray thing.
Because that was my only plan for Friday. Good lord, it
My
was a
only
disaster.
plan was the poster signing. So once I
Anyway.
got that done, I was like, all right, I'll whatever. Like the rest of the day doesn't matter. So we're chilling at the hotel room, eating dry Cheerios, kind of like because AJ's feeling better, so we're kind of hanging around, laughing it up. And of course, all of a sudden, AJ just goes, "Oh!" rolls over from looking at his phone, quickly flips on YouTube on the TV, and we watched the Jedi Survivor trailer.
That was a good
from
time.
the hotel room, and that was great. We watched that like 10 times. We're like, "Oh my god, is that the Grand Inquisitor? Oh my god, this! Oh my god, that!" So that was a lot of fun.
And I was feeling better, but I wanted to save. I thought it'd be smart to save my energy for
you didn't want
Disney
to
After
screw
Dark,
anything up.
so.
If you left and then felt like
Right.
crap, and
Yeah.
then made yourself feel worse and missed Star Wars night, that was
I would have been
good.
bummed. Yeah.
The
That would've been
resting
awful.
was worth it because After Dark, the Star Wars night, Disneyland After Dark, Star Wars night, was a lot of fun, and we were there until it closed. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you rested. So yeah, Star Wars night was a lot of fun.
Star Wars night was a blast.
We went.
That was
it-
so cool. I mean, you guys are
Yeah.
the big Disney people, but like I imagine you guys had never done anything like that, and just to see
No.
Star Wars costumes and people all over the park. The staff had lightsabers. There was Star Wars
Yeah.
themed food everywhere, which Jamie and I really wanted, which is why we didn't settle for the hot dogs with you guys.
we did
What did
get.
you guys get?
We went to Pizza
Some, like-
Planet and we got the hang on, we got the root leaf pozole. It was like a soup. It was
A
kind of like a
pozole.
ramen type thing. It
was
was really
really
good
good.
though.
But yeah,
But
we
it was from
wanted
Pizza Planet.
we wanted to experience the Star Wars foods. Like Jamie, read off some of the ones that
All
are
right,
on
all right.
there.
Yeah, let me.
Jamie has
look at this.
the map. From,
Hang on. There was the Snacky Mac, which was a big blue macaroon.
Big
We-
blue
we-
macaroon.
we
We
thought
thought
it
it was mac and cheese.
Yeah.
In fact, Zach had a horrible time because he went to one of the places they were selling Snacky Mac because he was hungry, and he was like, "I'll have a Snacky Mac." And they showed him a picture of a macaroon. He goes, "It's a macaroon?" He goes, "All right, I guess I'll have a macaroon." They go, "Sorry, we're out."
Oh,
Oh no.
Yeah,
A couple random ones. There was a katsu tip yip, Dathomirian cannelloni. Not a cannoli, a cannelloni. Dagobah bite beignets, some glazed tip yip, Gungan
Dathomirian
gooberfish
filoni.
dip.
Oh, the gooberfish dip.
Also the Dagobah dip, not to be confused.
It was so hard. It was so hard to get any of this food because there was like an hour, 2 hour wait just to get food in all these places because
Yeah.
all the Star Wars fans rushed in at once and it was dinner time. So it was, we were lucky to get
It was-
something,
it was
which is why Matt
interesting.
and Zach and Shelby went to
Well,
get the hot dogs. But like,
What
it
was
was so hard to get
bizarre
food.
was like this. You could get in at 6:00, so we were dumb, and we got there at 6:00. And there's a lot of people waiting to get in.
Yeah.
Well,
Somehow
it
we
went-
found,
it went
the
by pretty
shortest
quickly, though.
line.
Yeah.
No, we
Zach
weren't
found
dumb.
the
It worked
shortest
out.
line.
It worked
Yeah,
out.
Zach
It went
found-
pretty quickly.
We did Big Thunder Mountain for an hour.
Yeah.
First thing
so
we did on Star Wars night, Big Thunder Mountain.
Well, yeah, it starts. So you could get in for the event night at 6:00, but they didn't start selling the food and really doing all the
No.
event stuff until like 8:00 because they
They
had to
didn't
make
kick
sure
people out.
everyone who wasn't supposed to be in the park
Hence
left.
the after dark part.
Yeah,
But once
so
it got dark,
so you
it
couldn't
just
buy
went
the
by
food
so
until
fast.
8:00.
Well, yeah. Because then we
yeah,
only had
it
like
did.
5 hours to be in the park.
It
Closed
goes
at
by
1.
so fast because you wait for a ride and that's like an hour. You get food,
Yeah.
that's an hour. So you only have time for like 5 things.
We had to
really.
we had to carefully choose what we wanted to do. So we
Yeah.
got, we went to Batu with Ryan and Becca. We got some green milk.
Green milk was
Green
great.
milk
The
night.
first sip, I was like,
milks.
I don't know. And by the last sip, I was like, okay, Ryan, this is pretty good.
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed green milk. We
It
hung
was-
around and did Batu with them. Went into some of the shops.
We went into the droid depot. Didn't build a droid, but we looked at the,
was cool to
the
see.
droids and,
Yep.
and whatnot, and pointed at the gonk legs and whatnot. That was fun.
Then
The
we
fireworks-
stayed
Yeah, it
for a
was-
while.
It was
The
a lot
fireworks
of fun.
were really cool.
The fireworks were amazing.
So they did
Yes.
fireworks over the castle, as they
castle.
would always do. But
Only
with
5
Star Wars
minutes
music.
long, but very cool.
Spotted
Yeah.
a Kaminoan
Yes!
cosplayer,
Yeah.
which blew my
I saw
head
them
off.
again the next day. By the
That's
way,
so cool.
Yeah, didn't
Yeah.
you take a picture of them?
I did. Now that I'm thinking about it, though, I don't know where the heck it is.
I saw it on there, I think.
So
but,
I did though.
The,
yeah, so
Did
that
we
was
talk
a lot
about
of fun.
Hyperspace Mountain?
We did Hyperspace Mountain.
We did
did
Hyperspace
Hyperspace Mountain.
Mountain, which
That
was
was
hard
like
to
the
get
highlight
into
of
the
the
other
night.
day. So
Yeah,
we
Hyperspace
went on
Mountain
that
was a
with-
lot of fun.
That was
we
the
went on
highlight
that
of the night.
with our gang, and then Ryan and
Ra-
Becca, who we hung out with the whole night basically,
Yep.
and their friend Brent, who's very tall,
Very
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 nice
tall.
and very tall.
Tall Brent.
So that was a fun time.
And we
Well,
put Zach
Hyperspace
and
Mountain was a
Brent
lot of
together,
fun.
The two tallest people in the group.
Seriously.
Smart. Just in
I
case.
had never been on Space Mountain ever, like any variation of it, so it was like very cool to like see it. I feel like I would have
It
been
zooms.
terrified if it wasn't Hyperspace Mountain because like having like the Star Wars theming really like eased and softened the blow for me.
Yeah.
But
I think you'd enjoy Space Mountain fine. It's
It-
just like a
it's
little
still
more
good.
trippy and not as epic.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
just
Well-
still
it's
really
just
cool.
space. theme.
Yeah.
While we were like waiting, I swore I heard like someone like calling my name like while we were queuing to like get into like the cars and whatnot. And then as we like come back into the station, there's Scott and Kendra like waiting to get on the ride, just like right in front of us. So they were the ones calling, and then we ran into them a few more times like through the course of like the night.
Yeah, they kept
The-
being behind us in lines.
I know.
It was one of the coolest parts about like Star Wars Night was literally running into people like as you would at a convention, just like seeing them.
But at
A lot of
Disneyland.
times it happened waiting in lines, or you're just like walking through like different sections, and you're just like, "Hey, I know you." I ran into like my friend Danny like 3 times like at Batu like alone, and like only like one time like at the convention, and I was like, "What is happening here?" The best one for me though was running into friends was when we were in line for Indiana Jones again. So we're about to get into Indiana Jones with this big group. So we have a group of like 8 people now. We're in line to get onto the vehicle. The people that are currently on the vehicle, for context as well, I'm wearing my tech jacket, the one that I painted. We're waiting in line to get on the vehicle, and suddenly people in the vehicle start yelling, tech jacket, oh my god. And then I notice who they are. It was a Tech Bad Batch, Sith It Ain't Easy, and like Death Watch Girls, and like all of them. Like I know them through social media, and I was just like, oh my god, I know you guys. And then everyone just started like yelling. It was beautiful. It was
Forgot
great.
about that.
Yeah, that
But
was like
I don't even know those people, and I don't think.
well,
Matt
yeah,
does,
so
I
that's
don't
one of
know.
like my favorite moments, and so
Yeah,
like
that
it's
was-
something
yeah.
that no one else remembers, but like those
You're forgetting
guys
about what
remember.
happened after the ride, actually.
Yes,
So we're getting
and
off
then-
of Indiana Jones.
and then we get off
Zach
Indiana
drove
Jones. Yep.
Again. We're walking down this dark, we're walking past like the dark
Turning
The
suddenly and
area,
The queue is very dark for Indiana Jones. It
both
always has
in
been.
and out.
the
So we're
queue
walking-
drops suddenly and turns quickly.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, long story short, Becca goes, "Oh, that was Dave and John." As we're walking by, this group walks by us the other way. They're going into the ride as we're walking out, and she goes, "Oh yeah, that was Dave and John."
Just casually, like, all
like
right.
John Favreau, Dave Filoni, David John.
John Favreau and Dave Filoni, Dave and John. And
Going
she's like,
in.
"Oh, yeah."
We're all looking
We're
at
like,
the
what
ground,
the
like,
the hell? Yeah, right? So that was miss number 1 for Dave and John.
There was a number 2.
What was
There
number
was
2?
a number 2 for me, at least
What
for
was number
Dave
2?
Filoni. I was on Sunday morning when we were going up the
Oh.
escalator and he was coming down the escalator. And again, Becca goes, "Oh, that was Dave Filoni." And I look behind, and of course,
How does
there's
she
this
always
stupid
just
wolf
notice him?
jacket. And I'm like, "What
That's
the hell
funny.
are you doing to
I
me?"
noticed the wolf jacket.
the stupid
Perfect.
wolf jacket. It was too
Oh my
late.
god.
Oh,
Best
man.
part of the night, I got my porg.
Got the porg.
I really
I
enjoyed
got
the red
nacho.
lightsaber churros.
Red
But I think
lightsaber
it's stupid
churros.
they made
lightsaber
blue.
was bad. I had
Yeah,
the
I
blue.
don't. They should have just
It
made
was bad.
blue cinnamon as well.
I agree.
No one wants
Yeah.
a blue raspberry churro.
Who
I
the
don't
hell wants a
think,
blue
so.
raspberry churro?
No.
If you do, you're a psychopath. I ordered one. It was awful.
Which it should be the other way around. If you're getting the blue lightsaber, you're not a psychopath. If you're getting the
Exactly.
red one, you're the psychopath.
You're the
so.
psychopath. So that's what it
I'm
was.
the maniac.
So I got 2.
And of course, something that
2 red ones.
something that we've neglected to mention this entire time, both on Monday and on Friday, is that AJ, mostly AJ, just couldn't help himself in terms of interacting with the park's people, like the
Oh, yeah, I
like
had
the
to.
Captain Phasmas and the Kylo Rens.
Well, nobody else was, so I had to step up. And
He
You gotta.
approaches Kylo Ren with his jacket, his Kylo jacket. He salutes Captain Phasma as she walks by, and of course he goes up to Chewie to shake his hand and tell him he likes Chewie, and of course Chewie sees his Kylo Ren jacket and nearly rips his arm off.
Yep. He did rip my arm off.
throttles him. It was great. It was actually really great.
Yeah. That's the only
But
one
yeah,
I
and
don't
of
have
course-
photo evidence of, but
Star Wars Night was filled with those kinds of things. You're walking down the street and Captain Phasma with all of her stormtroopers are just marching down, harassing people, and doing, closing down the street and walking up to you and threatening you and all that, and that was fun.
Yeah. No, overall, Star Wars Night was
Wars Night
Disney
was
After
blast.
Dark was amazing.
Yeah.
Would do
Just
again.
went by so fast.
Would do
Yeah,
again.
would absolutely do again.
Even though it was expensive,
Would do
would
again.
do again.
Yeah. Although I think it was cheaper than like going to Disney in general. Although it's a lot shorter, so I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad we went to Disney like on Monday, so that way we could
Oh, yeah.
experience and then everything else.
Yeah. So
On to
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday was fun.
Saturday was a lot of fun.
Saturday
Me
was great.
And Zach got into the Mando Plus panel
Yep.
with Dave and John, friends of the show,
On stage. Yeah.
who were on stage. We got into the actual floor. That's the first and only time I think I've ever seen the Galaxy stage, or whatever the hell it's called.
Celebration stage.
The celebration stage. Why did I
There
call
it
it
is.
the Galaxy stage? The
I don't
celebration stage. That's the first and only time I've ever seen the celebration stage. It was awesome. And of course, Zach and I get sat in the nosebleeds. But we still got a pretty good view of the stage and all that. And I look over, and who is sitting 3 seats down from us but friend of the show's, Kevin Scott.
You couldn't avoid him.
I couldn't avoid him. I'm like, oh, we're watching the panel with Kevin Scott. I sent them a picture. I'm like, oh, there he is.
But yeah, I got to see this one as well. I was in an overflow room with Art, our friend Art, who's the best.
Love
Yep.
Art.
Part
Thank
of the
you again for
Corey
the
Aubrey
lightsaber blade
friend
borrow,
group.
Art.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep.
Art's the best. I had such a fun time at this panel because Art is his favorite character is Ahsoka, and in this panel at the very end they showed the Ahsoka teaser, which Matt and I already covered these.
We've covered that.
trailers,
That was
so.
that blew my eyebrows off.
But that was such a fun
couple weeks.
Oops. Siri's talking. I don't know what that was about. But yeah, that was such a good panel. That was up
Yep.
there, I guess, with one of the best celebration panels I've seen.
For sure.
And
I love
yeah,
how I'm nodding. I have no idea what actually happened in this panel.
yeah, Jamie didn't get into this one, but Jamie, you went to
What
the
I did
clone
on
meetup.
Saturday. Yeah, I went to the clone meetup. So on Saturday, I wore Civilian Hunter. And the one thing that I really wanted to do was to do the meetup for Clones of the Republic / Clone Trooper Detachment for the 501st. So I'm only on the Rebel Legion side, so I technically was only like half the things, but I really wanted to do it. And it was a lot of fun. It was really interesting / intimidating because I was the only like clone that didn't have armor. But it was really, really cool because like I met a lot of people that I've like talked to like online for the past like 3 years. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that I went. And it is a huge goal of mine next time at a celebration to have actual armor. But that's down the road. That's down the road.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of time for that.
Plenty of time. But I'd say like that was like one of my like favorite like moments of like the entire weekend though, was actually just like meeting other cosplayers that I've like just chatted with like for years and like either reconnected with in person or like had never actually met in person before. Because that's like was always like my thing before anything else, was always just doing the costuming bit of it. And so seeing like underrated, not lower. Seeing underrated costumes in person was like really cool. So like seeing a kid dressed as like a Kamino and like they had like the full like neck and like it was really cool. I saw a Rafa Martez like that.
Dude,
Oh,
we saw
yeah.
Rafa. That was great.
She
It
was
was
so
great
excited
because-
too.
Yeah, I
was nice.
think she told me I was like the only person who like knew that she was cosplaying, and I was just like, dude, you look fantastic, and like it was really
Who's she
exciting to
with?
see. She was the person with her was Fifth Brother,
That's it. Yeah.
like the
Brother
animated
and
version, but it was
Rafa
really good.
Martez, amazing.
Yeah, I loved that.
Oh my god, we
Yeah.
saw Drash. Never forget Drash.
And
Yeah.
we also
What?
saw Dog
that-
with sunglasses. That was an
Dog
Ewok.
with sunglasses.
Yeah.
He was the best.
Can't top
And there was a
Dog with
Rebels
sunglasses.
meetup on that rooftop.
Yeah.
We saw
we're-
Zeb
Yeah,
come
we
around the corner.
accidentally were on the outskirts of like the Rebels
Yeah,
meetup,
we're
and then the
sitting there-
entire Ghost crew's just walking by. And
Yeah, we find a nice place to like sit down and like gather ourselves on the roof, and all of a sudden we're just inundated with just droves of rebels. Just Ezra's, Kanan's, tons of Herers and Sabines everywhere you looked. We're going
One
"What the
Zeb.
hell?" One Zeb.
One Zeb.
He was a great
He
Zeb.
ruled them
though.
all.
Great Zeb.
One Zeb.
Oh yeah.
Great Zeb.
That was a good day. I don't know. That was just a classic, celebration, convention kind of day. Pardon me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a classic in the sense for like all of us of like
And of course,
meeting everyone.
we didn't cover the best thing I bought on Friday.
All right, I missed it.
Oh yeah.
It was this.
Oh,
Oh
yes.
right, yes.
So
My-
explain to everyone what that is.
My N1 Starfighter candy dispenser with 1999 Skittles. Thank you, Dodge from Lady Laureate, for pointing out that these probably have the lime flavor and not the green apple, as they do now. So these are worth a lot. Pay me a lot of money, and I will send these to you.
I thought you were gonna say pay you a lot of money and you'll eat them.
That too. Either
Either
one.
or,
Up
whatever
to
you
Pay me a
want.
lot of money either way, and I'll do whatever you want. Absolutely love it. Little Plus R2.
Does it make
No.
noises? Like does it need batteries, or is it?
No,
that's
No,
it?
I
it's
don't-
just
I don't think
press the
so.
dispense.
Are you gonna keep it in the
There's
packaging?
like no feature. I've not decided yet. I kind of don't.
It looks kind of nice in there.
I do like the look of it in there, but at the same time, it comes with like a little stand, and like looks good. So, and I mean, I love the look of the N1. So I was thinking I might display it. I don't know yet. I haven't decided.
Yeah,
But
that's
that
a
was
tough
what-
call.
Best thing I bought on Friday. Best thing I bought on Saturday. This bad boy.
Yes.
Oh boy, there he is.
This bad
There
boy.
he is.
This.
That was a highlight for sure.
Oh yeah.
So that is cackling evil Prince Shizor from Shadows of the Empire.
Cackling evil Prince Shizor, an absolute beauty of a man, with realistic Pauline hair.
Falling hair. Wow.
Thank God.
I love little
Uh,
details like that on the.
I wasn't even
Tags.
going to buy this, but a fan of ours who kept running into each one of us, kept having encounters
separately.
with each one of us, Adam. Thank you so
Adam.
much for
Thank you,
convincing me to buy this. I treasure it now. It feels like holding an Oscar. But
I was gonna say it looks like you're like holding an Oscar and doing the speech.
thank you. Cannot tell you how much this means.
You're holding
to
a
me.
Shizor.
I'm holding
you
a
won it.
Shizor.
The
The
Shizors.
2022 Shizor for
There
best
he is.
mustached podcaster.
And don't ask me what the hell this is. I think it's just a statue. It's the most useless piece of vinyl ever created, and
Let me
it's
see the back.
greatest thing.
Okay. His
That is
back
a
looks weird.
He has
Open
no
back
ass.
dress.
I was looking at like
unfortunately.
his back. Yeah.
no
open.
ass. Flat, completely flat. Poor guy.
Flat Shizor.
And he has scoliosis. So. But hey, relatable. Yeah, love him. And
That was
now
a hell of
he's-
a purchase.
Now he's behind here.
Hell of a purchase.
What am I
Sitting
missing
here.
Saturday, guys? Is there anything
Saturday.
of note?
What else
No.
did we do Saturday? What did we do Saturday night?
We
After
tried
After the
Chipotle.
convention.
Chipotle.
And ate it on the roof.
We ate it on the roof?
Yeah, it was
Yep.
quick.
The quick Chipotle on
The
the
quick
roof.
Chipotle.
I don't remember that.
Well, we
I
did.
remember us eating
um,
Chipotle while we watched the Celtics game.
That was another night.
That was a different night.
Was that Wednesday?
We
I
were
remember
not
that.
very adventurous with food.
No.
On this
There
We
trip.
weren't a lot of
too much Chipotle. I'm knocking
options
everything
around
over.
that we could find, but
Anyway, so Sunday.
on to Sunday,
On
which
to
Sunday.
Sunday.
Jamie,
Sunday.
kick us off for Sunday. This was
Kick us
uh,
off for
this was
Sunday.
your day.
Sunday
Jamie, this is yours.
is the Bad Batch panel day. Longtime listeners, even if you only listen to one episode, you know my one goal for the past year has been to get into the Bad Batch panel at Celebration, and we did. AJ and I found out while we were at Disneyland that we got into the panel, and I was over the moon.
Yeah.
And then it all worked out to actually go. And so like I knew that we wanted to get relatively early, like to the convention, because I had to wait in line still to get into the panel. So I did. And I wore my Omega costume, and it was so much fun. Omega is already like a really big like hit with like little kids. That was one thing I learned very quickly. The entire day while I was wearing Omega, like I got asked by a lot of parents to take photos as in that cosplay with their kid, and I was like, yeah, sure, definitely. Which is really cool. Like I love seeing like a Star Wars character that little kids really like love already so much. Omega does so much for that. So we go to the Bad Batch panel. AJ and I were waiting in line, and we did this like thing in which like we traded passes with like Zach, and then suddenly Zach's like in like the panel like as well.
Zach
he,
woke
like,
up
didn't
like
get in
2 hours
somehow.
after us, and he got in before us.
Yeah, I don't.
I said this
How?
last week, and I'll say it again. Zach made out like a friggin' bandit, and I'm angry at him for how he got
I'm
the
glad he
friggin' press
did.
pass. I didn't even get in. I was supposed to get in with them, but I misread my friggin' ticket. I got on the stupid overflow room.
It was
I didn't
a
even
mess.
get in. Though I met up with Becca and Ryan. So that was fun.
Yeah.
And
So
you saw Filoni on the escalator.
And I saw Filoni on the escalator.
so while we're like waiting for like the panel itself, Agent had like really good seats like as well. We were like a couple like rows
Thanks
up
to Zach.
in like the
Friggin'
stage like
Zach.
seating. Yeah, Zach.
Walks right in with the press pass, said
Whatever.
nothing to nobody. Just walked right in and sat the hell down wherever the hell he
Yep.
It's like,
pleased.
Zach, what are you doing? I wish that could have
This
been me. Like, I wish I
friggin'
knew.
guy.
I wish he told us, because I would have been like, Zach, trade with me
Friggin'
now.
Zach.
But
what
it's
difference
okay.
would it have made? He only beat us by like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
you got to sit where he sat.
Yeah.
True. Whatever. So we get in. I think that the one of the funniest parts to like me was like seeing people like walk in and whatnot. So a couple of the guys who were dressed as the Bad Batch. So John Alpha Ignition, who we had on the show sometime like last year, he has a Hunter cosplay. So it was him, the Tech, and then the Crosshair, and also the Omega. The four of them walking in, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god," because like they look exactly like the Batch and whatnot. And they like walk by, and I like gave like John like a fist bump like very awkwardly. It's like the awkwardest photo I've ever seen in my life.
Levi took that photo. Levi
Yeah,
found
there's
us and
there's
sat
like
with
a
us
guy
too,
like
and
in
Johnny.
between as we're just like high-fiving each other. Anyway, they like go and like they get like asked to like go on stage like immediately because they're like dressed up. But this woman in the row across from us like leans over at and like asks me because I like high-fived them because I like called out their names because I know them. She's just like, "Are those like professionals?" And I'm like, "No, they're just fans who made those." And
This
she
is
was
really
like,
good.
her mind was like blown.
What
and
does
I'm
it
like,
even mean? What's a professional?
A professional costume.
were they hired to be here? I think that's
Oh,
what she
yeah.
was
Is
asking.
that what it means? Okay.
like a Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse or like
Yeah,
a,
yeah, yeah, that kind of thing.
Gaston.
so
that
no,
you run into at Disney.
They were just kind of there. And yeah, Bad Batch
Mickey Mouse or
panel.
Gaston.
I don't know why I chose them, but
Anyways,
Bad Batch panel was
Bad Batch
fantastic.
panel was awesome. We got
it
to
was
see
really
Omega a little
It was a
older,
unique
a year
panel.
or two later. We
it
got
was a
to
unique
see
panel
Crab.
because like they did well yeah, like you
Big
guys are
fan
mentioning,
Crabs.
they showed the scene. We got a bonus scene. We got the trailer. We got
Mm-hmm.
the very cool like adventure-y 1940s poster. Well, I don't know what you'd
Yep.
call that. Like the side of a plane and everyone's ready to go. It reminds me
Look
of
at
that.
this.
Oh yeah,
Look at that,
Look
yeah.
at oh.
It's very
sorry
like
about the
Indiana
glare.
Jonesy or
I
something.
love
love
this.
Love
I
it.
love this so much.
But what I thought was cool in the panel, it wasn't anything crazy, but I thought it was really cool that D. Bradley Baker and Michelle, what's her last name?
Unbelievable.
Michelle Ang.
Michelle Ang, they did the live read
Yeah.
of like a scene, and I just thought that was so cool to see
And D.
live.
Bradley Baker is going absolutely crazy with these
Yeah.
voices because he's responding to questions in like each individual voice, and he's switching between them like that, like fast. Like
Yeah.
I was so impressed. I mean, he really pulled it off. I'm blown away.
I really got a kick. Jamie's obviously like the Bad Batch expert here, but I got a kick out of Johnny and Levi next to me because they've been like, they're the Clone Wars kids. I'll call them like the Cold War
Wars
kids,
generation.
the Clone Wars
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Like they were just smirking at each other listening to D on stage with the voices, and that was like special to me because like I don't know.
I love
Seeing-
the Clone Wars generation.
being near
Yeah.
Johnny at Celebration and these guys, especially Johnny though, being near him, like seeing him get excited is so infectious. Like,
Infectious as hell, dude.
he gets so
Especially
excited. It was so
Anakin
cool.
and Obi-Wan, or should I
Yeah.
say Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor.
He like bursts a blood vessel. Getting
Oh
excited
my
for
god,
that,
he
I
burst
think.
my blood vessel. I was just watching him. It was great.
But yeah, back to the Jamie. If you want to talk about what we saw.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the
So they like do
trailer.
like D. Bradley Baker like switches between all the characters like in like one take like
Yep.
all the time. So he like goes through like all the things, and I loved how the moderator of the panel like asked like what each character what their thoughts are like about like the panel, and like should we show a trailer, and like I loved that.
I loved when he asked, "Should we show the trailer?" And the first person to respond was Crosshair. No, it was Tech, and Tech was like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
good.
fine.
I was like, "What are you doing?"
Tech, get out of here.
And the
It's
moderator
perfect.
was like that too. He was like, "Should we ask other people?"
And then he like asked Echo, and Echo was also like, yeah, I'm fine.
I'm fine. And he's like, "All right, Hunter," and Hunter's like,
Yeah,
all
we'll
right.
see it.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
watch the trailer."
I
I'm like, "Oh my
loved
God,
it.
That's hilarious.
My other like favorite like highlight from the panel was at one point they're talking about like the new outfits and the new looks for everyone, which I am obsessed with all of them. But Michelle Ang's talking about Omegas, and her voice is pretty much just Omegas straight up.
Yeah,
by the
that
way,
was cool.
like that was like very like cool that like that's literally just her voice. But she refers to Omega's season 1 outfit as the Camino pajamas.
Yes, that was great.
And I am 100% referring to season 1 Omega's costume as the Camino pajamas for the rest of my life.
So I have a question for you, Jamie.
Yeah.
So obviously Omega's new costume is a huge upgrade over what she had. Obviously she's got the helmet now, or it's like a
She has a brand new change of clothes.
not really
the
a
only
mask.
thing that's copied over is she has the brown belt again.
So her stuff looks great. Huge upgrade, obviously. Everyone else, do you love that new look, or do you just like it because it's new?
At the moment, I think that I like
is it
it because it's
recency?
new.
Okay.
But I really want to like see it in action, and I hope that they explain it more. So why they are kit bashing so many things, because they pretty much have most of their armor from before, but everything is repainted,
Yeah.
or they have additions to it. I love the addition of all the different colors to it. I really, really want to know why they all made the decision to scrub all the skulls and 99s off of their armor.
Yeah. Maybe
And
they think it's, like, menacing.
It makes sense in the sense of if you're trying to hide. So like I really want them to like address that, like why it's scrubbed off, because
they were
none
trying
of
to
them
hide,
have that on there anymore.
They would just not wear any armor.
True.
they would keep
Yeah.
it like nearby, and maybe they will do that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I'm just so excited to see like some like variants finally. Even
I
like
remember-
Crosshair got like a change of clothes. So
That's right. There wasn't really like a good image of him, so I haven't really looked at that.
No.
But there, a guy behind us, I think it was during the trailer or when they showed the scene of Omega laying on the Marauder, like reading or something, and then
she's
Tech
studying,
comes over and he's like, "You gotta be
yeah.
studying."
and she's like,
So that was the first we saw the armor, and it's like orangey. And the
Yeah.
guy behind us was like, "Orange!" Like he just yelled "orange."
yeah,
And Levi and I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah,
I
that's-
love that's what the best
Yeah.
thing about Star Wars fans. You get excited about the smallest things.
Seriously,
yeah,
we get,
just the colors.
someone gets like a new boot or like a belt or something, and we get excited. We're like, "Oh, look at that! It's
Whoa,
new, something new."
Costume changes show progression of time.
Yeah.
That's it. So I'm just so happy that they
And
actually
Omega's
all have
taller
something new.
And
Little bit,
has longer
yeah.
hair.
Little bit.
But yeah, the Bad Batch panel was like so fun. The energy in the arena, like Matt said earlier, it was the first time I ever saw the celebration stage, not the Galaxy stage. So that was really fun to be in the actual arena and see that
Yeah.
live.
That was the only big panel I went to.
Yeah,
Kind of out of choice.
it was the
but
only
also,
panel we went to. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the publishing one, but yeah, that was the only other big
right.
one.
The fire alarm.
The other
trailer,
the fire
panel.
alarm. The other big part of the day for me was I ended up seeing a lot of other people also dressed as Omega, and we had like a mini like Omega like meetup, and it was a lot of
Omegathon.
fun. It was
The Omegathon.
The
yeah.
Omegathon. There you go. That's what it is. Perfect. But yeah, I love every single one of them, and it was so exciting to like meet all of them, and a lot of them I met for the first time in person, and a few of them were friends that I've had for a few years that I like hadn't like seen in years, and so I was like, this is really cool. It's a lot of fun.
The Bad Batch community
Yeah.
was definitely like a highlight that I'll remember from the celebration. Seeing all the
For
different
sure.
costumes and hanging out. I mean, because we were hanging out with them.
Yeah.
But still, it was
The
cool.
Bad Batch community is an offshoot of the Clone Wars community, obviously.
Right, yeah.
But it is very strong, and it's very young. And so like I feel very protective over all of my Bad Batch like fans that are friends, all of my Bad Batch friends that I know that are younger. And so I'm gonna adopt all y'all. I'm your older sister, and you're just gonna deal with it, okay? So,
Matt,
but I'm serious though. I'm serious about that.
Matt, what was your purchase of the day on Sunday?
know-
What'd you buy Sunday?
It wasn't a purchase of the day for me. I didn't purchase it. But I would say this.
You were gifted something? Oh, right.
Well, yes, someone purchased it for
Aubrey-
you.
Aubrey went to the shop, which we didn't even know about these shirts.
So the thing with
Starlight
the shop,
Beacon Cleanup Crew.
half of like the time there was items like appearing in the shop like throughout the weekend, and then some of the stuff didn't even show up. There was lost shipments. Like I didn't get to complete the set of Bad Batch pins because like they straight up didn't show up to the shop.
We actually saw
which
it
is
as
weird.
we were flying out of LAX. We saw
Yeah.
the shipping containers out in the harbor.
Just
so-
out there.
Yeah.
There they
It was
were.
floating there.
Um,
But thank you, Aubrey. Again, cannot stress that shirt. Thank you for this shirt. This
Yeah.
is a great shirt.
Me
I
too.
love it.
Yeah, she ended up getting me one too.
This was like
so-
the last thing we got. We were on our way out. You
Yeah.
guys were in line. I had just watched the closing ceremonies with Ryan, who so I'm standing there with Ryan, we're watching the screen,
Oh right, AJ and I were in line. We were in line
We were
with
with
Corey
Corey
to
and
meet
Johnny,
D. Bradley
yeah.
Baker. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Right.
But
I was like, where were we?
I'm standing with Ryan. And I are watching the screen, and he's of course big on celebration. Got to go to the next celebration, all that. And he had heard rumors that it was London. Other people's heard rumors that it was Orlando. So it was kind of like the Orlando-London fight.
The Orlando,
and
London.
Of course, on stage, the moderator brings out Rupert Friend, and Rupert Friend comes out, and I just hear Ryan go, "Oh, that's not good. They got a Brit." And of course, Ryan was the one who had heard London, so I'm like, "But you were the one who said London." He goes, "Yeah, but." London,
But he didn't want it.
There's always, like,
doesn't mean
you
I
know.
want it. Doesn't mean it's not expensive. But of course, he announced when next celebration is, and it was 11 months from now in London. That was just a lot of fun to watch, and the closing, video. Scott made it like twice.
Scott, no,
Yeah.
Scott was in
Scott
it like
and Kendall
5
fame.
times.
He had a
not
speaking
just
role.
twice. He was in it like
there,
5
he
times.
just kept popping up, and every time it was me, Zach, and Shelby going, "Oh my God, Scott! Oh my God, Scott! There's Scott again!
Great Scott.
Great
Great
Scott!" Oh no,
Scott.
it wasn't. Zach was in line with you guys, wasn't he? No,
No.
he
No.
was with us.
He was with you guys.
We keep
So
forgetting
then-
where Zach was.
I
at
know.
these stories.
See, here's the thing. We loved having Zach with us, but he was so damn quiet. We forgot he was there.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. He is a very quiet.
But he made out like a
boy.
bandit.
He did. We
made
forgot
out
to
like a
mention
freaking
that
bandit.
he wasn't even around on Friday because he was with Corey meeting Ewan McGregor.
Yep. And he
Yeah.
went to the Tales of the Jedi.
He went to the Tales
Yep.
of the Jedi panel, didn't tell me, or I could have got in, but no, he thought I was already there, so he just went in.
Yeah.
Then I wasn't there, and he was like, "Oh, you didn't get to see Tales of the Jedi?" No, I didn't get to see Tales of the Jedi. Zach, friggin'
You'll see it eventually.
no,
Yeah,
I don't.
so we met D. Bradley Baker.
He was
Corey
exhausted.
Corey got some
Bradley.
art signed, and we met D, and he was exhausted.
Yeah.
It was
expected.
it was rough. Yeah, to be expected, but he
Long
was
day.
exhausted. Long day, long weekend. Signed some art for Corey, and like legit, like it's the art of Cody and Rex and Fives and Echo, and so like D's staring at it,
Poor D.
and he identifies Rex and Cody, and then he just like looks at Fives and Echo, and he's just like, I don't, you got to tell me who these guys are.
He was like, "Is this Wax or Boyle?"
And we're like, oh, and Corey's just like, because like Fives is like his favorite character, but like.
he
whew.
was exhausted.
It was good
What a
though.
moment.
It was still really cool, and like I gave him one of our postcards, and told him about how the Marauder is not the reason that we're named the HoloNet Marauders, but it's very exciting, and I'm pretty sure he didn't follow me at all because he was
No,
exhausted.
no way.
But he's just kind of like
But there was
smiled and
no
nodded,
way.
and
It was
but
no
there
way.
was no way.
I want to know where
was
some of
fun.
these postcards went. Like we gave them to like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
If you're
yeah,
listening
you-
and you're a fan,
if you got a
send
postcard,
us-
what'd
send us a
you do with it?
snapshot.
If
Yeah.
you're listening and you're not a fan, did you get a postcard?
Yeah. If not,
Is
find
it-
us.
Hey,
find us.
hello.
We'll send you
Welcome.
one.
Welcome.
But yeah, that was celebration. That night at our hotel on the rooftop, we had a big get together with everyone.
And that was probably the second highlight of the trip for me. I would
the
probably say.
opening hangout and the ending hangout.
And the
Closing
closing
hangout.
hangout. We had the whole crew there, including Corey and Aubrey this time.
We also asked our
and
friends.
Chad.
Yep, and
Chad
Chad.
was there.
Yes,
Chad
Chad
did
was
the
there.
trip.
Chad from
Chad
Star Wars
came out.
Culture. Chad was
from
there.
Star Wars Culture.
And I was also going to say our friend Dave from college, he moved out to LA. We hung out with him as well. He just showed up.
That was
and we're
great.
like, hey.
Our friend Dave from college.
Yeah,
And
it was
that whole
it
group.
was good.
We hung out on the roof. We ate together. We talked and laughed and had conversations, and it was just like I said. That's what it was. The community is what Star Wars Celebration is, and those
Yeah.
kinds of things are my favorite things to do.
Yeah,
It was our own closing ceremony.
It was our own closing ceremony, and it was very fun. And Levi got in the pool.
Oh, I haven't unveiled that video yet. Maybe I'll do it here. I'm filming.
Hello there, Star Wars fans. It's Tim Morrison here. We just got back from Star Wars Celebration 2022. We're going into the pool. Ah, yes. The warm water of California. Ah. Try something new, New Zealand. The Polynesian spa.
There. But yeah, I don't know.
And that was it.
obviously it was such a special trip. We put a lot into this trip.
We drove back. We drove the van back. Said goodbye to Sheila. Had our bags, an extra bag.
Yeah.
that we
Oh,
bought
yeah.
it. We bought at the crappy
Jamie and I had
Target.
a million bags.
We had to buy an extra
Each of these guys
bag.
just had one. But
We heard
My
Sweet
big
Child of Mine.
suitcase was 2 pounds over, so I had to be that person to move things over to other bags before we checked it. But it works. It all works.
and
Get
that
it back.
was
That's
Star
that.
Wars. It's like closing the book. And that, my children, was Star Wars Celebration 2022. Matt, I wanted to hear, like, you have your costume list. We never got back to it. But very
Oh my
quickly,
God.
what were, like, the top 3 or 4, like,
So I'd probably
most popular
say
costumes?
most popular costumes. Well, Ray tipped the scales. I saw over 100 Rays, which
Wow.
is mind-boggling. Then
That makes sense.
I would probably say Mando. I have here.
Also makes sense.
Oh, and 70 Wilro hoods. I don't count that
Ah,
because I got the running of the hoods. I got a lot of Wilro hoods. Yeah, so Mando was 58. So yeah, you can see there was a big discrepancy between like first and second for me. Then I would say Cal Kestis,
wow.
surprising enough, was in third.
so Ray, Mando, Cal Kestis, Wilro Hood, asterisk next to his name.
And then Cobb. I saw a lot of Cobb Vance.
There was a lot of Cobb Vance, which also makes sense,
More
fan favorite.
Holdos than I was expecting. A lot of Afras. Pelimotos as well.
Hmm.
And then, of course, tons of like Anakin's, Obi-Wan's. Not as many Lukes as I was expecting.
I didn't see that many Lukes, which
Saw
is weird.
one side on Ithano.
Yeah. Very important.
2 Geodes. Apparently there were 3. I missed one.
There was the
But there were
third?
Geodes. Tons of Finns, Rebel pilots, stuff like that. Poes, Ezra's. But one that I thought was amazing was the Margrave. We saw
Oh,
a
I was looking at that
Margrave.
picture
Oh,
today.
yeah.
He was great.
That was so
I mean,
cool.
that was. Zach looks over and he goes, "Oh my God, is that the guy from the 9th Jedi?" And I'm going, "Holy crap, that's the Margrave."
There were a
Seeing-
handful of Visions cosplay.
Yeah.
Seeing Vision's
I saw
cosplay
the-
Back on it.
is really cool.
Really impressive, really cool, really like outside the box, in terms of like costumes, because that's a deep cut,
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
Yeah, there you have it.
I want to see a T-bot.
Matt's costume
time we
list.
go.
Oh,
Nice
T-bot,
moves.
please.
Yes. Okay. Well, on that note, thank you so much for listening to our Star Wars our Star Wars Celebration Anaheim recap.
job.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
We've talked so long. I don't know how to talk anymore. I feel like we covered everything in fine detail, but we really didn't. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to the show. You can find us everywhere on social media at HoloNet Marauders. On Twitter, it is just at HoloNet Marauder. We have a video version of the podcast. If you've been listening on the audio version only, we do have a video version. Check it out on our YouTube. If you've been listening / watching on YouTube, we have an audio version as well. Same thing, just, no image. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for listening to the HoloNet Marauders podcast. We'll see you guys next time.